One of the key benefits of using Angular is its awesome data binding features. In the product list view, we bound UI elements to the model defined in the controller using binding expressions. Binding expressions are denoted with double curly braces. This is one-way binding, meaning that the binding expression displays the data from the model, but a binding expression cannot update the model data. That was fine in the case of the product list because the data was display only. In the product edit info view form, we need two-way binding. We need to obtain the value from the model when displaying the data for edit, and we need to update the model with any data entered or changed by the user. For two-way binding, we can use the ngModel directive. The ngModel directive provides two-way data binding by synchronizing the model to the view as well as the view to the model. Let's add ngModel to each of the data entry elements in the sample application. Here we are back in WebStorm. We can add the ngModel directive to each data entry element. Let's start with the product name. We'll add ng-model, and we'll set it to VM, that's the alias for the controller, .product, that's the variable containing the product retrieved from the web service, .product name. That's the property of the product containing the name of the product. Now let's repeat that for the text area. ng-model equals vm.product.description. Now let's give it a try. We'll go to Product List, click Edit. Wow! We don't even have a controller for this page, but it populated the two controls. How did this work? Let's look back at the app.js file. Recall from the last module that this is where we identified our routing states. We defined a parent state called product edit and marked it as an abstract state. We then added nested states for each of the three tabs defined for editing the data. If a nested state does not specify a controller, the nested state uses the parent controller, which in this case is product edit controller. When a nested state is activated, the parent state is also activated. The resolve property for the product edit state calls the web server and returns the product for edit. The returned product is then injected into the parent controller. The parent controller was product edit controller, so let's look at that. So you can see here that the returned product is injected into this controller. Code in that controller then assigns the product to the model using vm.product. That's why our ng-model used vm.product and then the name of the product property. Let's run that again. Product list, edit the garden cart, and you can see it has the data. So it works, but it's not very pretty. Let's add some styling to our form next.